Ladies and gentlemen, 2021 has been an incredible and unusual year, and we have sold over 500,000 worth of various mountain bike products, and we are going to tell you the top selling ones, most notable ones. What else?
By category.
By category,
Yeah.
the best ones. Speaking of categories, drivetrain,
Brakes. Oh, I messed up. Grips.
tires,
Handlebars.
wheels,
Dropper posts.
brakes,
Saddles.
pedals,
Suspension.
maintenance,
Miscellaneous.
miscellaneous, MISSLEANUS.
That's right.
All of it. 2021. The best stuff the mountain bike industry had to offer. And at the very end of the video, we will tell you the #1 selling product for us this year.
Sure will. Let's do it!
Drivetrain. That covers a lot of things on your mountain bike, and it's a pretty important category. The honorable mention, SRAM UDH, the Universal Derailleur Hanger. This is something that SRAM has been working on to eliminate the various million different types of derailleur hangers out there and just make it one universal regular derailleur hanger. How cool is that?
Nice and easy.
And isn't it like $20 or $25 or something?
Yeah, it's like 20
It's
bucks.
like reasonably priced.
Yeah.
It hopefully one day will be the only derailleur hanger that exists on planet Earth for mountain bikes.
And you can get it at bike shops across the country.
Yeah,
And in the
across
world.
the world.
The world.
Yeah, see. Now we're going to tell you the two derailleurs, the two top-selling derailleurs that aren't SRAM or Shimano, Microshift.
Yes, Microshift. Very surprising.
Advent 9 and 10 speed. Microshift made a huge kind of, I don't know if I'll call it a comeback, because they're kind of newer. Aren't they newer?
I think these wide range group sets are the very popular, like newer ones.
Yeah, and they're affordable. Microshift is kind of known for affordable quality drivetrains, and they've just come a long way and gotten a lot nicer, and their 9 and 10 speed Advent and Advent X rear derailleurs were really, really popular this year. We swing it into the #1 selling derailleur, which SRAM GX 12-speed mechanical. SRAM GX is kind of all over this list here. Not in an affordable price point. The Quarq DZERO XX1 Eagle Access Dub Boost Powermeter Spider.
That's surprising.
That's a mouthful.
That's what she said.
Very popular product, and it's an expensive one, so
Yeah, it is.
tells you what people value these days.
Yeah, so the Quarq power meter, obviously that's a spider that bolts onto your SRAM access cranks and gives you your power reading. So who uses that? I don't even use a power meter.
Me neither. I
gotta-
guess somebody who's very serious about their training and racing and stuff like that.
You gotta be into it.
Very.
You gotta be deep into the sport and your training to care about that product.
Deep.
The SRAM crank arm boots, actually by volume, those little crank arm boots, you slide on SRAM carbon cranks, kind of a must-have for any carbon cranks these days when you smack those things into rocks and roots and various things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of people bought those.
Must have.
You made a joke about how many people might have bought the wrong ones.
Oh,
the
that's
ones
right.
that didn't fit.
That's because there are 2 different versions of the SRAM crank boots, so make sure you figure out which one goes on your cranks, or if you can't figure it out, just holla at you boys.
Yeah, we have a whole article all about crank boots and the fitment of crank boots. That's kind of funny to think that we have a whole article, but it's actually really referenced and read frequently. And we also answer thousands of customer support inquiries that are technical mountain bike questions all day, every day here. So if you're curious what crank boots fit your cranks, just send us an email if you don't want to read that entire article. But it's also a $10 investment, so if you buy the wrong one,
Your buddy
then
probably
you can
has
put them on
those.
your fingers and
Oh, yeah.
tickle your friend or something like that.
Yeah.
RaceFace Aeffect R cranksets, 175 mil, affordable. Aeffect is RaceFace's sort of affordable
Entry level.
entry level.
Yeah.
It's hard to call it entry level because it's like it's entry level to really high end expensive mountain bikes. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah, it's quality stuff.
It's entry level on bikes that are over $2,000.
Right.
So not like entry level as in like
Like a crank in general.
yeah.
It's a nice crank.
It's a really nice crank.
It's a quality mountain
Yeah.
bike crank. Aluminum.
Yeah, aluminum
Aluminum
crankset.
alloy.
Yeah, RaceFace whole Aeffect line or Effect or Aeffect. See, they just put AE.
They put both of the effects together.
Yeah.
I just realized.
Into the top 3 in the drivetrain categories, AbsoluteBLACK, Oval narrow wide chain rings.
Number
you
3.
ride those, don't you?
I do ride these. Yeah, this one's actually mine.
Oh yeah, it's used.
It is used.
Tangerine.
Tangerine. Oh, I like that.
We made a really in-depth video all about oval chain rings. If you're curious about these things, go check out that video. We kind of talked a lot about sort of the science behind it and various references around that topic, but also just let average mountain bikers get out there, ride them and test them, and then hear their feedback. I personally do like them. I feel like it helps me have more traction on technical climbing on my mountain bike. I'm not really concerned about being more efficient or watts or anything like that. What do you think? You like them? You always ride them, right?
I do. I mean, I noticed a difference for sure, like on climbs and stuff like that.
I enjoy it, but it's also one of those things that, like, if I didn't have it, I also would be just as happy. Like, it's a great upgrade. It's a nice little thing that helps for technical climbing, but at the same time,
They look cool.
They do look cool. Yeah, Absolute Black chainrings look phenomenal.
Yeah,
They
really cool
do.
machining and stuff like that. Cool colors to match your stuff.
So here's something that I know you have spent a lot of your own personal paycheck on: the SRAM GX Access. So this is the number 2 thing in the drivetrain category. It's the upgrade kit, which is what we have here, which is controller, derailleur, battery, the charger, gap adjustment tool.
Yep, gap adjustment tool, and obviously your controller derailleur, and a nice little coaster with QR codes so you can download the app.
Oh, wow. $600. You can just basically take your existing 12-speed SRAM drivetrain and make it entirely electronic and wireless. That's cool.
It's very nice. It's very quick shifting, very smooth, and it's really nice. And it makes a little noise go.
That is cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice noise.
It's cool
It's
noise.
surprising that it's at $600 when it's like almost the same
Yeah.
as the XO1 and XX1.
It is.
Some slight material differences there, but yeah, it's really nice. I did not think it was going to be that price point. I would have thought it would have been $800. So I was impressed. We made a funny news video all about this. If you want to check it out, when they launched this product, we made this like hilarious news video all about GX Access. So go check that out if you want a little humor in your life. And the number 1, of course, is chains. And for us, it was the XO1 and XX1 at 12-speed.
And they've got hollow pins, if you can believe that. That's what differentiates these from the, more entry-level chains, is that they're hollow pins for more lightweight.
So lightweight.
It actually is significantly lighter, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And this
it is
one's all
nice.
silver, and that one's all gold. So
Well, that's it. That's the drivetrain category for you. 2021.
the honorable mention in the grip category is
Trail One. So this is actually a brand that we ourselves collaborated with BKXC, Brian Kennedy, on a mountain bike component brand and designed some really cool stuff. It has a really cool philanthropic give back model. These are the Hell's Gate grips, and actually $1 per pair of these grips sold goes to Hell's Gate National Park, which you can see right here. So we introduced Trail One in mid-November, so clearly they're not a top-selling grip for 2021, but we are optimistic they will be next year. It's actually a really good grip. Myself, Jared, Liam, some of the guys from Trail One, we all kind of collaborated on kind of the grip we always wanted, and that's what we came up with in black, gray, and orange. Now, speaking of other grips, these
That's
grips are
right.
personal preference, and there will never be one best grip. There will always be lots of good grips.
there will always be lots of good grips.
Number three,
Number 3,
ODI.
Elite Pro.
yeah, Elite Pros.
A classic, future classic,
A future classic?
current classic,
It's a classic, but it's still modern and relevant.
modern classic.
It's a modern classic. ODI, everyone knows ODI. They've been making good mountain bike grips forever. The Elite Pro is the most popular one for ODI in 2021.
Made in the USA.
Yeah, that is cool. Then, Ergon GA3s. Ergon kind of is always dominating various spots in like the top 10, top 20 best-selling grips that we have for like the last 10 years, I think. The GA3s, which have the mini wing, show them the mini wing.
Oh yeah, look at those.
Show them the mini wing. It's not for everyone. Don't panic. Don't freak out.
Oh Jesus!
But some people really, really enjoy that grip feel, and it really helps them with arm pain and wrist pain, hand pain, various things. So if you have any of those problems, check out Ergon Grips. They've done a lot of incredible engineering to make uniquely designed grips that help with hand pain, things like that. And number one, the best-selling grip for the entire year.
The PNW Loam in like all the colors. These things dominated.
All the colors.
Pretty surprising.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're a great price. It's only $19 for a set of these bad boys.
Yeah, lock on, tons of colors. Good. It's a slim grip.
With a little bit of a taper to it, but
A little bit of a taper to
just-
it.
You get a good grip on it, you know?
Yeah, good rubber feel, bunch of different colors, good, simple, well-priced grip that, yeah, PNW's a rad brand. They make a lot of good stuff. So,
And
best-selling grip.
you can get the color to match your loam dropper and your handlebar and everything.
Tires. As you can imagine, we talk about tires a lot on this channel because it's really important.
Never get tired of it. I mean, it's really nice.
We never get tired of it. Mountain bike tires are one of the most important things that you can do to your bike to actually change how it works and feels on the trail. So people really, really overthink tires, test tires, and love talking about tires, all of that.
Love tires.
Speaking about an honorable mention, the DHF, one of the most winningest tires ever, but not just a DHF. What is it? The 20th
anniversary. 20 years of shred, baby.
20 years of shred. That's cool.
Throwback logo.
That came out in 21, and yeah, interesting new take on the DHF. Well, it's actually the exact same tire, just cool new fancy logo and font.
And as soon as they get a DHR II to match, then we'll be all over it.
Commemorate. It is the only mountain bike tire that has gone 20 years and is still one of the best tires out there, which is pretty incredible.
Pretty rad. Pretty rad.
I applaud the DHF for such a feat.
Me too.
Aside from Maxxis, we have a couple things that are on the list.
Yes, we do.
Teravail. Coronado.
Coronado.
Yeah,
And
the
2.8.
2.8 version.
Wow.
So plus bike. Plus bike, 2.8
Plus.
and above.
Yeah.
Some people like plus bikes. Plus bikes are pretty fun. I think a lot of e-bikes are running 2.8 tires. So, I don't know, check out Teravail. They're making a lot of headway on creating good quality mountain bike tires these days, and I was pretty impressed to see them right there on that list.
Yeah, me too.
Another tire besides Maxxis, Continental Cross King.
Wow.
We don't have one here because we couldn't get one, but it's a Cross King. And
Yeah.
guys, actually Continental was like, had the most names on that list of top like 50 tires aside from Maxxis, obviously.
Yeah.
Speaking of Maxxis, they of course claimed all of the top spots on this podium.
Sure did.
With the Dissector, we have a Dissector.
We got a Dissector right here.
I really like the Dissector. That to me is like one of the best. It's like a perfect combination of fast rolling and good traction. So for like a light trail bike, like my Revel Ranger, 115 mil travel 29er, Dissector in the front, Rekon in the back. Do you run the Dissector?
I do not. I prefer DHR II in the front.
Beefy kind of guy.
Yeah, but Dissector is great. Definitely lightweight, and it's got a nice center tread for high rolling speed.
Yeah, that tire, actually almost every Maxxis tire, but that tire in particular is one of the more recent ones that Maxxis developed with Troy Brosnan, a famed World Cup downhill racer. That's the result of that tire, which is developing it with a professional racer. Speaking of that, same strategy with this guy.
Assegai, mate.
Developed with Greg Menard. I think he's the all-time winningest downhill racer at this point.
He's the GOAT, yeah.
Is he well, they call him the GOAT, but like, does he actually have that many wins over Sam Hill and Vulio?
Yeah, he does.
I think he does. He literally just won world championships, and he's 40 or 39 years old or something. Yeah, he's amazing. He's
a legend.
South African mountain bike racing legend, the Assegai. Maxxis worked and developed and designed that tire with him, and it made it up there in the top 3 tires for the year.
Because like the grippiest tire.
I think it is the grippiest. It's not the fastest rolling, and it's not the lightest, but I think it is the grippiest tire I've ever ridden.
It's grippy. It's a good combination of grip and speed. What's
the
next?
Number 2, the Rekon.
Ooh, slide in there.
So we made a ton of tire videos. We once made a video about our favorite combinations, so Maxxis front and rear combos. This made it to my list of that light trail bike, XC bike, like as a rear tire. That's an amazing tire as in the rear for a trail bike, or the front for an XC bike. Yeah, still a really popular tire, unbelievably light and fast rolling, but still maintains some pretty incredible grip. So Maxxis Rekon, that's definitely an important and notable one. And the number 1 spot, which I love, and you already said the DHR II,
baby.
Yeah. That's a good tire.
Legendary. I mean, really good as a rear tire on an enduro bike, really good as a front tire on a trail bike or cross country or
versatile.
down country. Yeah, very versatile. And I like that word.
Yeah, so versatile that Greg Menard, before they designed the Assegai, actually won the World Cup in South Africa with that as the front and rear tire on his downhill bike. So Maxxis DHR II. When you compare it to the DHF, they offer it in it's like a 2.5 versus a 2.4, slightly faster rolling, I would say, and slightly lighter too when you compare it like per size. So I tend to end up with that one rather than the DHF. It has the exact same corner knobs as a DHF, just a different center tread. So almost same thing as a DHF.
He said it.
Number one telling tire of the selling year.
The number 1 telling sire of the year.
Number 1 telling sire. Handlebars.
That's right.
Handlebars in number 5.
The PB&J range handlebar.
PNW.
Oh, what does that stand for?
Pacific Northwest.
Oh. Sandwiches.
Jiminy Christmas. God. We talked about PNW earlier. Is their grips?
Their grips.
You can get matching grips. Ooh, this is that like dune color, huh?
They do call it
dune or dust or something.
The dune.
Oh, this is nice. These are nice.
It is really nice. They actually revised these, and it's kind of like a slightly newer graphic design and finish on here.
There's still like a little give back to NICA, right, on these bars?
Sure is.
Aluminum bar that has a give back element to NICA, the National Intergalactic Cycling Association, which is supporting high school and middle school mountain biking all over the galaxy.
Pretty sweet.
Number 4, I didn't see this coming.
Sure didn't. You should have, though, with that rise. 80 high side. What's up?
80 mil rise. This is the number 4 best-selling bar. This is kind of probably more originally intended for dirt jump bikes, and maybe that's what this was put on.
But
But
I see a lot of people out there on the trails who, you know, have back problems or they need a more upright riding position, and this sure gets you there immediately.
Does. Yeah, this is a good quality, well-designed bar that just happens to have a really high rise.
Yeah.
We made an entire video about, well, we made a mountain bike buyer's guide, mountain bike handlebars buyer's guide, and a high-rise mountain bike handlebars video where we talk a lot about high-rise and how it changes the body position suspension of your bike and why it might make sense for you to have high-rise bars versus low-rise bars or anywhere in between. And we had a lot of like different images showing what the actual body position is of someone riding a high-rise bar versus a low-rise bar and how that various pros and cons. But DD high-rise or high-side?
High-side?
High-side.
High-side.
High-side, high-rise.
High-side, high-rise.
That's those. They look so funny, but
They do, but they work.
coming into the number 3 spot, RaceFace Chester,
Which we don't have here.
we don't have in front of us, but is a really goodly
Yes.
spec'd $46 aluminum handlebar. Yeah, the Chester line, kind of like the Aeffect line, just good, affordable, price point friendly, quality mountain bike products that are spec'd well.
Chester's been selling well for years now, so not too big a surprise there.
Yeah, that's true. And number 2 spot, Envy M6.
Woo!
Those are $170 carbon bars right there.
Wow.
But they are like feather light.
Oh, it's incredible.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, Envy, when it comes to just like fit and finish and everything, it's just obviously very high end.
Very high end, very premium. You could call them like the Lamborghini. They're like, in my opinion, they're kind of held in that regard. Where like they only make really well polished, well designed, high end expensive products.
Absolutely.
So if that's what you're going for, yeah.
The creme de la creme,
The creme de la
as
creme.
Jeff likes to say.
And the number 1 spot, no surprise. I think this was number 1 last year, was it? One Up Components carbon handlebar. It's $138, so a pretty well-priced carbon handlebar. One Up is the only handlebar company, or component company, that has a handlebar with a proprietary and unique design. And the whole idea behind this is to get a
Compliance?
compliance, but there's a term for it. It's lateral stiffness and vertical compliance. Vertical compliance and lateral stiffness.
There you go.
We made an entire video about these handlebars. It was actually really interesting. So I tested back-to-back, same bike, same trail, 5 different handlebars, including the One-Up bar, and I went into that just thinking I'm not going to be able to tell a difference on any of these, and this is going to be a disaster of a video, and we're not going to be able to post it.
But you sure did notice
I
difference.
did. I was shocked. It's really interesting because as much as you ride all these different bikes over the years, and I have, it's still hard to like really tell. Like it's hard to isolate componentry, right? Because you're on like a new bike or different tire pressure or different wheels or a different trail. But when you take the exact bike and the exact trail, and the only thing you change is the handlebars, and you do it with 5 different handlebars back to back, you really actually realize and notice how different handlebars feel in terms of how they flex when you pull on them like this, when you push up and down on them, the vibration in your hands. It was pretty amazing. But One Up has a really uniquely designed handlebar that's really cool. So as far as carbon bars go, they have the most unique design.
Pretty sweet.
It is pretty sweet, yeah, for sure.
Check them out.
Honorable mention, Trail One, already mentioned them
Of
before,
course.
which does not have an amazing proprietary design like One Up, but we still did work hard on tuning it to get a nice compliance to where it's like, I think a nice middle ground of stiffness and compliance. Some of that would be personal preference if people tried more back-to-back tests. Like if everyone went through this back-to-back handlebar test that I did, they would probably end up with some preferences, but no one's going to do that.
I think everybody just needs to do more back-to-back tests of every type of component.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so good luck with that. See
Yeah.
you later.
For the sake of fudge!
Wheels in position number 5.
Wait, no, honorable mention, dude.
No, that's at the end.
Oh, it's at the okay. Number 5.
What is it?
Envy.
Envy AM30s, right here, right in the middle.
these
Be
bad
careful.
boys right
Be
here.
careful. This is Envy's. This is what Envy likes to call a affordable. Well, it's a $1,600 wheel set.
Which is not bad for a carbon hoop and an Industry 9 hub.
True.
And,
Yeah. We actually did a standalone video on these wheels because it is one of Envy's first lower priced.
External spoke nipple.
Oh yeah, it's an external spoke nipple, 30 mil wide internal carbon rim that comes with i9 hubs, steel spokes. It's an awesome wheel set. This exact wheel set I actually rode in Moab when I was chasing Epic mountain bike trip for like 5 days, and now you're riding them, and Liam rode them, and I think Raymond rode them, and
Adam
these
rode them.
these wheels have
been around.
These wheels have been around,
But they're holding true.
and they're totally fine.
Yeah, they're perfectly good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
so it is definitely, if you're looking for a carbon wheel set, this is certainly something to consider, especially if your price point is under $2,000.
number 5.
A totally different price point, the DT Swiss E1900s for $475 for the set. That is an aluminum rim, of course, when you're talking $475 for the set. And those are the 1700s.
Yes, but this is what we've got.
DT Swiss, everyone knows DT Swiss. They make a ton of really good wheels and good rims, and they have a lot of various different price points and really confusing names when it comes to the various different wheels that they sell.
They certainly are confusing.
But there you go.
That's about the only downside is it's confusing.
It is confusing. The number 3 spot, and well, yeah, this brand dominates.
They do.
Number 3, the Industry 9 Trail S. $750
Wow.
for the whole set.
With a high
aluminum rim.
Yep. Aluminum rim, high engagement, 90 points of engagement rear hub, and steel spokes. I mean, just super solid. 27 mil internal width.
Yeah, that's right. So for like a trail bike at that price point, it's kind of interesting. Like everything in mountain bikes, there's all these various different price points, and as you ramp up in the price point, you get nicer product, lighter, better materials, more durable, and then there's like a diminishing returns area. This is probably that like really good premium aluminum wheel set price point that gets you a good aluminum rim at a price point that's less than $1,000. Now, speaking of higher end wheels, the Industry 9 Enduro 305.
Woo, look at these puppies. Am I right or what?
30.5 mil internal, right?
30.5.
Yeah, so this wheel set, once you get to this price point, $1,455, you get Industry 9's what they call their system, which is proprietary to them. It's an aluminum spoke rather than steel. There's no bend to it. It threads directly into the hub shell. There's no nipple either, so you reduce the rotational weight there. So that's why these things look larger, because they're aluminum rather than steel, which makes them lighter, less flexy. They actually don't touch each other. They thread into the hub shell. It's a really cool, interesting system that works well, is durable and lightweight and stiff. I think
Solid.
that's the biggest thing. It's like it's a stiff wheel. So the Enduro 305 gets you that high engagement Industry 9 hub, their system with the threaded hub shell and the aluminum spokes and an aluminum rim.
And
so I love those. I'm a huge Industry 9 fan.
fully customizable. If you go to Industry 9's Anno Lab on their website, you can literally
True.
change the color of every single spoke and your hub and your valve stem and everything, and pretty much get your dream wheel set.
That is cool. I've got some fancy builds of myself that has Industry 9 wheels on it of varying different colors. So yeah, we like Industry 9. We talk about them. A lot of the staff here rides them, especially because you can get so many different colors with them, and it's just like a good, really high quality, well-made wheel set, like top to bottom. It's really cool.
Good people.
And yet again, Industry 9, this time the Enduro S, which essentially is the same thing as the Trail S, same
Pretty
price
much.
point, $750, but slightly wider rim.
Slightly wider rim,
Slightly
same
wider,
hub,
stronger rim.
same stuff. But yeah, Enduro S is super solid, same price.
Yeah, so if you're looking for that like $750 price point, high quality aluminum rim wheel set under $1,000, $750 for the Enduro S or the Trail S, depending on the bike you're putting it on. And honorable mentions, Bird, B-E-R-D. They have a, I do not even remember how to say that.
Ultra high weight poly.
Play the clip of me saying it in the Bird video that we did. These are made of ultra-high molecular weight polyethylene. I hope I said that right. We made a standalone video all about Bird wheels and their phantasmic spokes that they have on those things.
Can you say that word one more time?
Phantasmic, orgasmic?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they're unusual and different and have a totally different take on how a mountain bike wheel can be made and what the spoke is doing. So honorable mention there. Check out that video. That's a really interesting product in the mountain bike world right now. And there's not really that many interesting, like truly innovative, interesting products, but those Bird spokes. And another honorable mention, which this has been a top-selling product of some form or another for 5 years now. It's a DT Swiss ratchet kit. So a lot of the DT Swiss wheels have their ratchet engagement system, and a lot of times you'll buy a bike with DT Swiss hubs and it'll have 18 points of engagement. You can get this ratchet kit and it'll change it to 54 points of engagement, which makes a pretty substantial difference. I think it makes a huge difference because that dead zone in your crank before it engages, you can essentially get rid of that almost entirely with that upgrade kit, which is like $100 or something, $110.
$107.40.
There's two different versions now. There's like, is it like the EXI or something for the newer one?
EXP, yeah, that's for the EXP hub particularly. And then they actually make the LN upgrade kit, which is for 370 hubs. That's 3 pawls to convert it to the ratchet system.
Wow. Well, so if you have a DT Swiss rear hub and you want to get more engagement out of it, make sure you buy the right ratchet kit. And if you're confused on that, hit us up, send us an email, call us on the phone. And that concludes the wheels category.
That's it.
Drop a post.
Wow, mine's longer.
What is this? 100 mile travel drop? You gave me the 125. You did it on purpose. All right, the number 3 best-selling dropper post, surprisingly, I guess I say surprisingly, not because it's not a good product, but because the price of the product, $816, RockShox Reverb Access, which is a fully wireless electronic dropper post, and boy, is that pricey. But those things are cool.
It is cool and it's pretty.
That's from your own bike, isn't it?
This is from my own bike.
Yeah.
See the things I do for the community. Yeah. I uninstalled this from my bike just for you guys.
The price does include the controller, the remote,
yes.
but they call it a controller because it's electronic. Whereas most dropper posts are not electronic and they don't include the controller. So $816 gets you a fully wireless Reverb Access dropper post, which is pretty cool. And that was the number 3 top selling post this year.
Pretty cool.
I am impressed. And number 2, no surprise, the Fox Transfer Factory post. So this is the 2021 edition. It's got the redesigned head thing.
Yep.
The new head.
C-clamp head.
Tell them about the head.
Well, let me tell you about the head. It is a lower stack than the old one, and it actually is able to reduce the entire overall height of the post, which in turn allows you to run a longer post in your frame. And it's also super easy to put a new saddle on, which I love, because that's a huge pain for me.
Yeah, most people like to run the longest amount of dropper post travel they can fit on their bike, given the length of their legs and the size of their C-tube. So for these posts to kind of cinch down their overall stack height over the years is important, and Fox obviously took that feedback and refined the newer model of the Transfer. And Transfer has just been a good, reliable dropper post for years now. So
sure has.
no surprise there.
Match your Kashima.
Speaking of low stack heights,
Ooh.
the number 1 selling post,
One
Up V2. That's a massive.
This is the
that guy's
210 mil
210
travel.
millimeters. I wish I had that much travel.
It's for your long-legged boys out there.
That is a lot of travel.
I mean, look at this compared to the 125 mil post.
yeah.
Wow.
All of these, by the way, are available in various different lengths. We just have my small selection here.
Yes.
But One Up Components post, $209. Doesn't include the remote. I don't think any post can include the remotes except for that Reverb Access, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but One Up, I think it's got one of the, if not the absolute lowest overall stack heights of any dropper post out there. It's pretty easily serviceable yourself. $209 is on that really affordable, like better priced end of the spectrum.
Definitely.
Yeah, One Up Components is going to be mentioned in this video a lot because they got a lot of really good products. Nice stuff. And a lot of people have that post and they're quite happy with it.
It's great.
Honorable mention, which is just a remote, is the Wolftooth Remote. This is my personal favorite remote that I have on all of my bikes because I just love it. Which one do you use? Is it PNW one?
Well, right now I'm using the Axis one. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this one is CNC'd aluminum, made in the USA. It's got a really nice grippy texture here, cool little Wolftooth logo. They make it matchmaker compatible, so you can use it with SRAM brakes, or they make one for Shimano
Or
brakes
Madura,
too,
or
like
Hope,
everything,
like all the
or just like the
adapters.
whole band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rad. It has a sealed ball bearing in there, and there's no play. It's just like this beautifully smooth, like
Smooth action.
well designed. How much is this baby?
$69.95.
Yeah, so it's not a cheap dropper lever, but boy is it nice. And
But-
something that'll make your bike feel nice is good, high quality things that you touch, whether that's with your feet or your hands.
That's what she said.
Yes, and also there's a breakaway point, so if you happen to crash
True.
and break it, it's a couple bucks just to get it back on your bike.
Yeah, just to get that little piece in there replaced. So yeah, that's a lot nicer. Good luck doing that with your Reverb Access controller. It's gonna cost you a fortune.
No!
Second mortgage, baby.
Dang it! Yeah, I was thinking about it, and like, I figured we should just stop right here because we're at the brake section.
That brings us to brakes. The best-selling brakes. This category actually really surprised me because the top 2 selling brakes, I knew they were popular, but I didn't think they were that popular.
It blew me away.
You just blew my mind.
It blew me away.
Yeah.
Well, let's start out with number 5, which is actually what I have on my own bike, the SRAM G2 RSC brakes. I really enjoy those things. Did you bother taking them out of the box?
I took them out of the box, yeah, they're
There
right
we
there.
go.
Yeah.
The RSC version has got all the fancy adjustments, including the, what do they call it? Contact point adjust.
Contact
Basically
adjust.
adjust how far the lever throws until it engages. Then they have the external reach adjust that doesn't need a tool.
Toolless, they call it. Yeah.
Toolless.
Toolless.
Yeah, I love those. Those are SRAM's like, it's their top end, well, I guess not the
Premier,
ultimate.
like trail slash.
Enduro?
Yeah, maybe.
Trail?
Yeah. Trail, downcountry.
It's a 4-piston brake.
Yeah.
Brakes are all over the place because it depends on what you're doing with your bike, like how long and fast those downhills are that you're riding, and also how heavy you and your bike are. So you can run brakes that are, maybe on the lighter side if you're a lighter rider, or the heavier side if you're a heavier rider, or you're riding more intense long downhills.
Yeah. For instance, I have codes on my Rebel Ranger, so there you go.
True.
What's
All
next?
right, number 4.
Number 4.
Shimano XT, of course, the M8120s.
4-piston.
The 4-piston
The
version
4-piston
of
version.
those.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah, Shimano XT brakes have been a popular brake for
That's pretty lightweight. How about you
forever.
check that out? Yeah,
They
very
are
popular.
light, yeah. And I just like the design. I do think it's a beautiful, like the XTR brakes, for example, I think are probably the best looking brake out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still more of a fan of SRAM brakes just because of various preferences and especially feel. But I think that's a preference thing. We made a whole video, SRAM versus Shimano brakes, if you want to better understand the various differences between how Shimano brakes feel versus SRAM brakes. So check out that video. But yeah, obviously some people love and are diehard Shimano brake fans.
That's right.
So XT, that's going to be a top selling brake, probably.
Pretty sweet.
Whoa, whoa.
Yep. Save that for later.
Number 3, the Code RS3s,
Ooh.
RSCs
RSC
by SRAM.
by SRAM.
That's the more powerful one.
Yes, it
That's
is
what you got.
indeed. These are, the downhill / enduro 4-piston, powerful, the most powerful brake that SRAM makes.
Yeah, and it has a more snappy, touchy bite point than the rest of SRAM brakes. So SRAM's kind of always been known for like a little bit more of a modulated field brake versus Shimano, which is a little bit like snappier and tighter and kind of like easier to lock up. But the Codes kind of like blur the lines between the two. You know, they're closer towards that Shimano feel where they're just like snappier. They're just powerful
Very
brakes. I mean,
snappy.
there's like a lot of oil volume in there, and those have become really popular because a lot of people tried those brakes and just loved them. Like they're the brakes people got, and they're like, I can do nose wheelies now. So
And it's not that much of a weight penalty. Like if you're
Yeah, it's not bad.
if you're building up a bike and you want powerful brakes, like you might as well just go with the most powerful ones you can get because you're not like taking a huge weight penalty. So, right?
well, every gram counts.
Okay, wrong person to ask about weight.
Oh wait, every gram counts. I'll stick to my G2s. That's all I need. The number 2, maybe we should just say the number 2 and the number 1 at the same time.
We will.
The number 2 is the Magura MT5, and the number 1 is the MT7. So Magura, wow.
Incredible.
Yeah, they made a comeback. I mean, Magura's been making, I used to have the Magura, I think they're called Gustav brakes. It was like a 4-piston floating caliper brake on my downhill bike that rubbed like crazy, but it was ungodly powerful.
Oh, geez.
That was in like 2005. Magura has obviously been making brakes forever, and they're more prominent in Europe, of course. But yeah, to see them really have such a comeback in the States and become so popular, and people just love them.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, Magura, if you want to send us some brakes to try out, we'll do it.
Don't make me beg, darling. I won't do it, you know.
Yeah, because we literally, they're selling so fast and so well that
We can't get any.
we can't get any. So we don't have any here, and we don't have any on our bike. So yeah, I can't tell you too much about them. Other than that, obviously, tons of people bought them and really enjoy them.
Yeah, they look sweet.
They do look cool. Yeah, they have a very unique look to them. I guess all of these do, right? Like a SRAM brake versus
They do.
Shimano versus Magura, they all have a pretty unique
You can
look.
pretty much know what it is as soon as you see it.
Yeah, totally.
Pretty sweet. But for the honorable mention,
The honorable mention.
got the new SRAM HS2 rotors. Pretty sweet, 2 millimeters thick. This is the center lock version, it's kind of small, but I put some of these on my bike and I could definitely notice a difference in just the lever feel and the power and the snappiness of the lever. It's, yeah, huge difference. I
So
was
it's
very
slightly
surprised.
thicker than the regular SRAM rotors. and
Which I
most
believe is
rotors.
1.8 is the standard SRAM rotor. But yeah, these are a little thicker, and there's also a heat dissipating paint right here in the middle, so it helps keep it cooler longer.
Did they make them in a aluminum carrier version?
No,
See, I like the aluminum carrier.
I know you do.
Yeah, it's more expensive, but it keeps the thing from bending ever. And then your
Here's the
brakes
thing.
never rub.
I got a couple of these, and in the packaging, put on the table, perfectly flat.
But you know what? A 2 mil thick also prevents it from having
Yes.
any wobbles and bends too.
There you go.
So, yeah, it's a new product from SRAM, HS2 rotor. Definitely worth looking into for a good rotor upgrade for your SRAM brakes.
Pretty sweet.
And that is the brake category, and we will end it with Jared's joke about his grandpa.
It's kind of a bummer because he's addicted to drinking brake fluid. Told him to quit, and he just kept on saying he could stop whenever he wants. You call it a seat or a saddle?
Do you call it a horse or a horse? That didn't make any sense. I was just thinking about horses when you said saddle. I don't know. It's a seat, but for some reason everyone calls it a saddle in the mountain bike industry. I have no idea why.
Maybe it's because you ride it like a horse.
Well, this category is saddles. One time we made a video all about the best saddles out there, but more importantly, the whole last 7 minutes of that video is this really in-depth and nerdy stuff about how to pick the exact right saddle depending on who you are, your sit bones, how often you ride, all that sort of stuff. So check that out if you're really into this category. But to talk about the most popular saddles and or seats.
Yes.
Whatever you prefer to call them.
Yes, please.
Number 4, WTB Silverado saddle, which isn't here because, well, there's one on my bike. I think I have it on both of my bikes right now.
I think you do.
Yeah, WTB Silverado saddle. That goes anywhere, get this, from $43 to $224, depending on if you want steel rails or carbon rails. Yeah, I like that saddle. That's like a lightweight, low profile, like beautifully looking, nice, high-end, racy saddle.
It is nice.
That's why I like it, because I like that there's no gap between the rails and the tops. Like real low profile, just looks like a stealth bomber of a saddle. It's good. Yeah. WTB
nice.
Silverado, it's in number 4 spot. Number 3 spot, of course, Ergon SMC.
Ooh, look at that.
Look at that.
It's a nice platform right there for your
Available
bottom.
in different widths, correct?
That's right. As with all other Ergon saddles,
Yeah.
this one in particular, I'm not sure which size it is.
It's pretty wide.
Medium large.
Medium large.
Checks out.
Yeah.
Very comfortable. Definitely maybe a little more towards like the e-bike end of the spectrum, just like, you know, a little more comfort there. Or if you just have like problem finding a comfortable saddle, maybe just check this one out.
Yeah, people seem to love that. Ergon, as we mentioned with grips earlier in the video, makes a lot of really, really technically engineered products, and they put a lot of effort into those things, especially their saddles. I think you think they're more famous for saddles or grips? That's like Ergon's lifeblood is saddles and grips.
I'm gonna say grips.
You're gonna say grips?
Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, the saddles and grips category for us has kind of always had a lot of Ergon in it, and dominated there by the top sellers because Ergon just makes good stuff in those two
They
categories.
sure do.
The number 2 position is the WTB Speed saddle, which we don't have at the moment because it's out of stock. Welcome to 2021. That's another. We can make a whole video on supply chain issues in 2021. The Speed saddle is a little bit more on that comfort side, a little bit more on that affordability side, starting at $43. And yeah, it's good quality saddle. WTB is another one of those brands that's been making saddles for a really long time that a lot of people are just diehard fans of.
Yeah, very solid saddles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the number 1, of course, goes to Ergon SM Pro.
Ergon.
Isn't that your saddle of choice?
This is my saddle of choice, and this is actually my personal saddle. Again, took it off my bike just for you, Jeff.
You did it for the viewers, man.
I did it for the viewers.
For the community.
For the community!
Yeah, the same reason you bought the Reaver backs then.
Yeah.
SM Pro, tell us
yeah.
about it. It's got the taint trench.
The taint trench for your taint. Also, the little fart hole, which is nice, so you can exhaust your buddies out there on the trail. And then, yeah, TI rails. I got the medium large because I've got a nice wide berth of my hips. And it's just really nice and comfortable. I'd love this saddle.
Yeah, those are good. A lot of people like those. Ergon worked on those with a lot of their pro racers. And if you want a much more technical description of that saddle, please hit Ergon's website or that video I mentioned earlier that we did that talks about it. And there's less mention of taints, berths,
Farts.
and fart holes.
Yeah. A little more.
That is your saddle category
Yeah.
for 2021.
Saddle up. Well, I'm not just going to be out on the curb like pedaling for change, you know?
So let's pedal it on out
Let's pedal it on out.
to the pedals category. And we only have 3 pairs of pedals here. What's the number 3 spot?
It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. And
That
in the
is
number 3 spot, it's the Deity Death Trap, which are pretty
The
sweet.
Deity Death Trap composite pedal at an affordable price point, sealed ball bearings,
Look at
lots
that.
of threaded pins, very wide, nice platform. Yeah, those are good. Deity makes a lot of good pedals.
The composite version of the famed T-Mac pedal by Tyler McCall.
Wow.
Yeah, your guy knows a couple things.
That's pretty good. In case you were wondering, flat pedals do largely oversell clipless pedals, which is why we were just talking about the top 3 flat pedals. But as far as clipless pedals go, what do you theorize was the top selling one? Because we didn't actually pull that data.
I'm going to say it's going to be the Crank Brothers Malady.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I ride. Do you ride that? Or do you ride flats?
I ride those too.
Yeah, pretty much everyone in the shop that rides clipless pedals rides Maladies, and there's a couple outliers that ride Shimano pedals just because they prefer that cleat feel.
Weirdos.
Yeah. We actually talked about pedals kind of in depth on the MTB podcast. If you're into podcasts, check out the MTB podcast,
We sure
presented
did.
and hosted by us and our guy Liam. He actually is a guy who rides Shimano pedals, and both of us said we rode Crank Brothers Maladies.
And he is weird.
So, number 2 spot, RaceFace Chester. Man,
Oof!
RaceFace Chester has been one of the top-selling pedals since its release.
You could even say and it's an incumbent in this category.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the exact correct word, but It's a really good pedal for the price and the features and yeah, everything about it. And they make replaceable pin kits for it, which is pretty cool. By the way, the RaceFace Chester pin kit also happens to fit a lot of other pedals out there.
Oh.
So there's a lot of other pedals that don't sell replaceable pin kits. But the RaceFace Chester pin kit might also fit those. Just a little word of advice there. But yeah, that's a good quality pedal. It's not too small, but not too large.
Yeah, it's a nice average size. And yeah, with all the extra parts, you could pretty much keep these bad boys going forever.
Yeah, because they sell spindle kits as well.
That's right.
So, and the number one pedal, once again, we're mentioning One Up Components.
Ooh.
Straight out of Squamish, British Columbia, Canada.
I do like these.
Those are nice.
These are nice.
Composite pedal, really good design. Clears mud. Look at those mud clearing grooves. Everything One Up makes, because all the guys who engineer and test the products all ride and live in Squamish, Canada. They ride in mud all the time, so everything you can buy from them, you can trust that it clears mud, basically, and works in the mud.
These are certainly spiky boys. I mean, look at that.
They are spiky. All of these happen to have threaded pin design, which is pretty cool. And yeah, they're all composite too, so
Very solid.
Aluminum pedals, not that they're not really better. That's the problem. It's like
They look better.
I don't know. Composite pedals have kind of taken over the flat pedal world since they've been introduced because of mostly their price points, like half the price half the time.
Yeah, I mean these are all around $50 or so.
Yeah.
And yeah, super solid. And actually, these are usually lighter weight than their alloy counterparts.
Yeah, true. Honorable mention in the pedal category, which doesn't have to do with flat pedals, but does have to do with clipless pedals, is the Crank Brothers Easy Release Cleats. So Crank Brothers, not too long ago, released a lot of various different cleats and options for easy release that has like different levels of floats and release angles. So if you have Crank Brothers pedals, two things. Check out all the new easy release cleats. And the second thing is look at my video that's 18 minutes long called How to Set Up Crank Brothers Pedals in Ridiculous Detail. And the color correction is a little bit messed up on that video and I look orange and it's kind of funny and we filmed it like 4 years ago. So it's not as quality as the video you're watching now, but it's still a valuable, useful video if you're trying to figure out how to set up Crank Brothers cleats, including these easy release. Do you use these guys or do you use the stock ones?
I just use the regular
I use the stock ones
brass
too.
colored
I got so
ones.
used to the regular stock ones I don't really want to change them at this point.
I'm actually the same way, and I need some new cleats.
Yeah, but a lot of people who are getting into clipless pedals or trying them out for the first time, this really makes a ton of sense. Or people that like them but still feel like it's a little challenging to get out, easy release cleats for your Crank Brothers pedals. And that concludes the pedals category. Let's pedal away.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool, we're rolling.
Forks and shocks,
And shocks.
also known as suspension.
I love me some suspension.
So for 2021, we got 6 here. I don't know why we're doing 6 sometimes, 3 sometimes, 4 sometimes, 5, whatever.
Wow.
Number 6 is the RockShox Zeb.
Whew.
38 mil beast.
Love the Zeb.
Beast of what I call a super enduro fork.
Charger 2.1 damper.
Yeah, that thing's nice.
Low speed, high speed, everything.
Yep, that is the one. We have a whole video about that, don't we? About the
Sure do.
Zeb. We do.
Liam riding that thing. It's pretty sweet.
And coming in the 5th spot is the 36. We have a 36? We don't even have a 36 here.
If you take
man.
that and then you go in between that, you get 36.
Go in between this 34 and in between this 38, you get a 36.
Exactly.
The 36, the 2021 36, that was the one that had the big change, wasn't it?
2020.
Or was it
Yes.
2020?
The one with the rounded
2021.
arch is the big change.
Yeah, the one with the rounded arch. So basically, if you look at Fox 36 forks, and if you notice that rounded arch that looks like that, versus the older ones, that had a big change, like in terms of damper, air spring, design, everything. So if 36 fits your flavor, what you're going for, meaning you're going for a little bit more than the 34 and a little bit less than the 38, that newer 36 is definitely one to pay attention to and look at.
Yes.
So yeah, I was really impressed with that fork.
Yes.
That was like, it was overshadowed by the 38 because it
Yeah.
kind of was introduced and the 38 was introduced and everyone was like, oh, the 38.
Yes. Exactly.
You know, and it was like, actually, this revised version of the 36, if that's what you're going for, is a substantial
Amazing.
upgrade.
Yeah. VVC damper and. Whew, don't even get me started.
In the 4th spot, the RockShox Lyric Ultimate.
Ooh.
Look at that baby.
We do have one of those right here.
So that's a 35 mil stanchion. So not quite as burly as that Zeb. Did that hit the laptop?
Did not hit the laptop.
It's RockShox Enduro fork that is not quite as burly as the Zeb, but kind of a competitor, you could call it, to the 36. Yeah, good, nice, high-quality Enduro fork that, again, RockShox has been working on tuning their dampers and air springs to make those things really nice and work really well, which is cool.
Plush.
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 And the number 3 spot
Oh, what do we got? What do we got?
is the Fox 38.
Ooh.
The 38 was actually all over the place in like the top 20 selling forks this year. Probably was last year, probably since its inception. People love that thing, and it really does work good. It feels like a downhill bike. Like it feels like a dual crown fork. It's just so plush, so stiff, so well refined. All these various little features about it that make it really impressive. You have one, don't you?
I had one.
Had one?
Well, I got to test out the pistachio one that we got as test, and then
Pistachio.
that was it. Yeah, that's a sweet fork. I love that 38.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that fork when I rode it. I was shocked at how good that thing worked. And then number 2 and the number 1 spots don't go to any of these ultra premium forks, but they actually go to a little bit more of the, would you call them affordable or wallet friendly forks?
I would call it
the
that.
Manitou Marcor
Oh.
and the RockShox Rekon.
Ooh.
So I believe both of those forks were featured in our best forks under $500 video that we made maybe over a year ago or something. We're probably going to remake that video. But the RockShox Rekon, Manitou Marcor, RockShox makes a lot of forks that are under the $500, even under the $300 price point, that are just absolutely the best you can buy if you're looking for a fork at that price point. Rekon is definitely one of the important ones to look at there. But Manitou also has a good competitor right there as well, if you like their look and their flavors. And
Absolutely, and that reverse arch.
That reverse arch, which
reverse
no one has up at Manitou.
Exactly. Speaking of shocking,
Shocking news.
get to the rear shocks.
The rear shocks were absolutely dominated by Fox in the number 3 spot.
In the number 3 spot, the X2.
X2, which is a beefy enduro shock.
Very nice. Low speed and high speed compression and rebound adjustment. And you got your nice little firm switch. And yeah, super nice, very adjustable. And pretty much all you'd want out of an air shock.
I think originally that was like just meant to be a downhill air shock, but then it worked so good, people started putting it in enduro bikes, and then Fox put their climb switch or whatever they want to call it on there, and now it's like this amazing enduro shock with a climb switch. That's pretty much the beefiest, nicest, most adjustable enduro shock you can get. Yeah, Fox dominates this category. RockShox obviously is neck and neck with Fox in a lot of ways, but in rear shocks, aftermarket, yeah, Fox crushes it. They just make a lot of different options. They have a lot of good availability. And, I think those two things really make a big difference there.
Absolutely.
Because rear shocks are in this weird middle ground where a lot of bikes still use the imperial sizing, and then a lot of newer bikes use the metric sizing. Fox has kind of like just done a really good job at making all their models open to all those different things. And so, yeah, they're kind of crushing the shock category.
Speaking of metric shocks,
The Float X.
number 2, the Float X. This replaced the DPX2 for the metric sizes. But yeah, this thing is awesome. It's got numbered dials for your compression and rebound adjustment, so you always kind of know where you stand instead of having to kind of figure out where you were. But yeah, this is super sweet. I have one of these on my Rebel Ranger, and it's pretty sweet.
So like the basically inline single cylinder DPS version, if you want more plushness, more tunability, more like resilience on those long downhills, the Float X. And the Float X is if you have imperial sizing, right?
Metric.
Oh.
DPX2 is
I can't even
imperial.
keep track of this.
He's backwards.
I'm backwards. So the DPX2, which we don't have in front of us because of supply chain issues.
Number 1.
That is the number 1 shock, the DPX2 from Fox. So yeah, I think a lot of people that wanted to do a shock upgrade kind of looked at Fox and saw all the various different options, especially if you were imperial or metric. And the stuff that Fox makes is so nice, so high end, and has so much adjustment that, yeah, Fox kind of dominated that rear shock category this year.
Dialed.
So there you go. That's it. That's all for the suspension category.
Ooh. Least but not last, I've got maintenance parts for you guys because I know you'd like to work on your bike and keep it fresh. So let's go. What do
Number
we got?
5.
Number 5.
Park Tool High Performance Grease.
Ooh.
How high performance is that grease?
It's actually the highest performance grease that I've seen.
It's the highest performance grease that Park Tool sells.
Oh, that's what I mean.
Right? They sell a lot of nice grease.
It's the highest performance grease that they sell
Yeah.
and make.
Well, okay. Cool.
Yeah, done.
If you need grease, that's a good grease. That's a
very
high performance grease.
High performing.
The number 4 spot, RockShox Dynamic Seal Grease.
Oh, another one. This is great for your shock rebuilds. And that's literally exactly it. It says for rear shock service. People are out there servicing
There's a lot
their
of grease
shocks.
on this list. Number 3 is Buzzy's Slick Honey.
Awfully greasy.
That is a more versatile grease.
Sure is. You could use this to service your dropper post. You could use this for your fork, your shock,
think
pretty
it's-
much whatever.
Yeah, pretty much whatever, but it's not edible.
Unfortunately, it is not edible.
Yeah, so don't get confused with the honey thing.
Yeah, forget about the honey.
Number 2, which is the #1 selling chain lube of the year, which happens to be the Muck Off Bio Dry Bike Chain Lube, 120 milliliters.
Yes.
I like
this
that
is
stuff. I think it works
my
great.
favorite lube I've used to date.
I think so too.
Yeah,
Keeps
solid.
the chain lubed. It's like with lubrication, you're kind of, well, depends on where you are, if you're in a dry climate or wet climate. But in a dry climate, you're trying to balance this. How long can it last and how clean can it keep your drivetrain? In a wet climate, you're trying to make sure it's like, well, how clean can your drivetrain stay? And also just how long can it, I guess it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're just kind of fighting different things. You're fighting like mud and water from like clogging the drivetrain and like gunking it up and like eating your lube away versus fighting like dust getting everywhere. But you still need a good lube.
Yeah,
So
and
the dry stuff.
certainly don't eat it.
Yeah, Muck Off is like really came in swinging, making some really high quality lubes, which I'm impressed because there's a lot of good lubrications out there, good chain lubes, and Muck Off is like kind of new to the game in the scheme of things. Like when you compare them to some of the other guys out there.
Absolutely.
So there
What
you
do
go.
we got? Number 1.
Number 1, it's grease again, man. It's the SRAM butter grease.
SRAM butter grease, which is pretty much like another slick oleum grease, right?
Yeah.
Pretty similar to the Buzzies, but super popular. People like the SRAM stuff.
Versatile grease for any
Versatile.
like foam things, any suspension, any of that stuff.
Fork bushings, shock seals, and more.
That's the maintenance category. Honorable mention there is WPL.
WPL.
Yeah, Whistler Performance Lubricants.
You got that right.
Yeah, if you're curious about the most eco-friendly, environmentally conscious brand out there when it comes to cleaning products and lubrication products, WPL has beat everyone, like by far and away. So
Absolutely.
they're making really cool stuff, and it actually works really well too.
And tested in Whistler. I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, Whistler owned, Whistler tested company, which is cool. That's a good honorable mention, as well as Wera Tools.
Ooh, yes.
Specifically, I mean, they make a ton of really cool bike tools. Whereas like a Gucci of bike tools, it's really, really high-end, really high-quality stuff. And they've been making a lot of headway. It's a German company, right?
Yes.
So they've been making a lot of headway in the U.S. in the last couple of years, especially this year. And this is a Bicycle 3 set from them. Not cheap, but high quality, that nonetheless. Look at all that stuff.
Pretty much everything you need to fix a bike. I mean, except for like a chain tool and stuff like that. But
You've got Torx,
You got
all your
Torx,
Allens, plus ballpoint Allens.
and we got a little socket
your
here,
little
which is nice.
Ratchety, wow.
And an extender, and a little mini guy for like, stem bolts or little bolts you
Yeah,
just need to like
that's super
quickly tighten
convenient.
or loosen, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, and it just goes like that in your carrier. And there's also a little gap for your
like,
most used ones right
most
there.
used essential ones. Yeah, like when I travel with my bike, I pretty much take that toolkit and that's it. Because like when you take a bike apart to put it in a bike bag or bike box, you don't really need that many tools to put it back together, and that covers all of that and more. So yeah, that's what I take with me traveling.
Pretty
So honorable mention,
solid.
Wear Tools.
Yes.
Making some really good stuff. Now, my favorite category, the miscellaneous.
Miscellaneous category.
Miscellaneous.
Me too.
Miscellaneous. In the number 5 spot, we have Fox fenders. So, did those come out this year or last year?
These came out when the 36 and 38 came out, so
Yeah, but they like weren't available for
Right.
9 months or some crazy
pretty much
thing.
every time these things come into stock, they are gone within
Yeah,
like a
they're
day.
gone fast.
And they just came out with the XL version, which offers, I believe, 85% more coverage.
Just a bigger fender.
It's a bigger fender for more coverage. But yeah, those are both sweet, and they just bolt on versus zip tie, which is super nice.
Yeah, that's a nice, high quality, clean look. So RockShox has that too. With
They
their,
do.
like Sid and
For
Zeb
the
and
Sid
stuff.
and Zeb,
So
exactly.
it's nice to see bolt-on fenders becoming more of a thing. They are like more than double the price of a zip tie fender,
Yeah,
but
it's worth it.
they do look good.
They do.
Yeah, those things have been flying off the shelves every time we get them. Number 4 is a shock pump.
Ooh.
Fox high pressure shock pump, the non-digital version. So, I mean, I don't really think you need a digital shock pump unless you really want to look fancy. And people do want to look fancy. Toolboxes, man. People love their toolboxes.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
Really
I have
do.
the digital one, so
If you like toolboxes, you should follow Toolbox Wars on Instagram.
yeah.
It is a rad account and a rad guy running the thing, and they're just like amazing the various things that they
Insane.
do and the toolboxes that they show on. Like, people love tools.
You'll get some inspiration,
So-
that is for sure.
Yeah, and then you're gonna need digital shock pump if you want to. If you start following Toolbox Wars, not
Exactly.
not the analog one.
Number 3.
One Up Components EDC Tool Threadless Carrier.
Yes, this guy allows it so you don't have to thread your steer tube in order to use the 1UP EDC system. You basically just knock out your star nut, and then this will slide in there, and then it'll basically cinch up from the bottom, like you basically have your top cap on the bottom, so it's bottom cap. But yeah, super nice, and then your tool just goes right in there. Also, this will only work with V2 tools. So if you get the new carrier, probably gonna want to get the tool because it'd be kind of waste if you didn't. So check that out.
Did you say V2 as in Veronica?
Yes, V as in Veronica and Velocity and Velociraptor.
Yeah, OneUp makes a lot of really cool various ways. That's like one of the original OneUp products is like the EDC tools and how to carry your tools on your bike without having to have like a big multi-tool in your pack or strapped on. So
Nailed it. Yeah, pretty sweet.
Yeah, OneUp makes really cool stuff. Check out their tools.
Number 2.
Lezyme Flow Bottle Cage Side Loader.
Yeah, I dig this one.
Yeah, me too.
One of our best all-time selling bottle cages.
Yeah.
And we use them on all our demo bikes and everything. So super solid and affordable and durable.
Your bottle doesn't fall out. At
Your
least I
bottle
haven't
does
had a
not
bottle
fall out.
of it.
Yeah, very solid.
Just convenient. Like it has a nice look to it, and the side load aspect is like easy to like when you're on the bike, it's easy to put the bottle back in there. And they make a left and right version depending if you're left or right-handed or preference there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, really good bottle cage.
Absolutely.
The number one spot, which still behooves me that so many people like this product, not that it's a bad product, but it's a pricey, high-end, fancy product, is the Quarq Shockwiz.
Oof.
They're like $330 or something.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. We have an in-depth video about this product and how to use it, how to basically allow it to help you set up and tune and learn suspension. We've talked about it a ton over the years because it's just a really cool product. And it essentially hooks up to your air fork or shock. And it has Bluetooth, and it connects to your phone and an app, and it gives you all of this incredible data back to your phone telling you, hey, you need more air pressure, less air pressure, more compression, faster, slower rebound, all these different things. It's really like, to me, an educational device as well as like a high-tech tuning suspension device, depending on where you start out. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So
Yeah, definitely teaches you a lot about your suspension and where you're at.
yeah, and the pro tip there is if you have mountain bike friends, you should just kind of all go in on it, because if you split it 5 ways, and like you can all use it, and it's not like something you use forever, right? You might use it every time you get a new fork or shock, but once you have your existing fork and shock, you use it for a while, you dial it in, and then you can just let your buddy borrow it, and then you all chip in on it. That's my pro tip. But that is a really cool device. And it is the number one. It's the winner of the miscellaneous category.
The winner of the miscellaneous category.
Honorable mentions in the miscellaneous category are the chain gap adjust tool.
Yes,
So
super handy.
It is handy. If you
And,
have a SRAM Eagle drivetrain, you pretty
yes.
much need that tool to properly adjust your drivetrain, which is really important to have it perform well, adjust it well. You need that tool. And another one is the SRAM Access Paddle. This actually made it into last year's video, somewhere in that miscellaneous category of last year. Open it real good. Right that. So the SRAM Access Controller, it's a shifter for their electronic wireless drivetrain. It had kind of a unique, funky
Paddle. Rocker paddle.
buttony thingy. It wasn't like their original SRAM shifter, the way it functioned, and they took that feedback to heart, and then they created a way to fix that and change it to have it a little bit more traditional, a little bit more similar to what you might have been used to if you'd been using an existing SRAM mechanical shifter. That has a very different design to it that feels a lot more like that original SRAM one. So that's still been a top-selling product because everyone with Access, man, almost everyone I know with Access is like, gotten this thing and it's like, oh, that's way better.
Yeah, it's nice. And it's $20, so it's not a
that's
huge
true.
commitment.
Yeah, not a huge commitment.
But it's great.
So yeah, that is cool. It does look nice.
And now,
The Grammy goes to. We're gonna tell you the top 3 best-selling products of all of the entire year of 2021, and that is in number 3. The SRAM GX Eagle 12-speed chain. Not very exciting, but
no, it's not that exciting.
People wear out chains. It is important to actually refresh the chain on your drivetrain because essentially if you change your chain more often, you add more life to your chainring, derailleur, and most importantly, that expensive cassette back there. So you should go about every 200 to 500 miles and swap out your chain.
Definitely. Or get a chain checker too.
Chain checkers help too.
Yeah, I mean, definitely be on top of your chain life.
Yeah, be on top of your chain life.
Yeah.
Number 2 spot, another thing that is a consumable wearable item, SRAM disc brake pads.
Ooh.
In particular, the sintered compound steel-backed.
Powerful. Exactly. Metallic. Yeah, super powerful. I actually swapped out my organics to these, and we definitely noticed a difference. And especially if you're in the wet, these are going to be better in the wet than the organic pads.
Speaking of that, we have a video on organic versus sintered compound brake pads where I go a lot more in depth on how that works and what the difference between the two of them are. So check that out if you're curious, but yeah, super good selling brake pads because people wear out brake pads and they rode bikes a lot 2021. And the number 1 product, the award goes to
The Fox Rear Shock Service Kit for float rear shocks.
Yeah, not really exciting, but it fits a ton of the different Fox rear shock models, and it's pretty much everything you need to service your rear shock, which is an important thing to do. Even includes a little oil packet.
It's called float fluid.
Called
It will not
float
make you
fluid.
float, but it's for your shock.
The shocks are supposed to. They call them float. So
They are float rear
floating.
shocks.
They're floating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the #1 selling product of the entire year. I know none of these are really that exciting, but, you know, it's interesting to know. If you've made it this far in the video, we love you.
Yes, we certainly do.
Thank you
very much.
Very much. Please like, please subscribe. If you hit that little subscribe button and the notification bell, it helps you see more of this awesome mountain bike content. By the way, if you go to our website, you can sign up for our email list. Every video we drop goes out in that email. We also drop a ton of valuable content in that email list. Thank you. That's it, and that's all.
Cheerio, mates.